she's bulletproof.
What happened to bulletproof?
It's bulletproof-ish.
Is that Bucky?
So Marvel has dropped their first trailer for the Thunderbolts, and it looks like a lot of fun. It's giving me Winter Soldier vibes for this series, and it makes sense because the Winter Soldier is in this movie. And it's funny because Marvel called this a teaser trailer, when in reality it's just a full-blown trailer. It's 3 minutes long. It's no teaser. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down. We're gonna be talking about the plot, what's gonna be going on during the movie, who Bob Reynolds is, aka the Sentry, and we'll talk about what's going on with Bucky, Yelena, and also just in general what the Thunderbolts team is from the comics. So the trailer starts off with Yelena going to see Red Guardian. It looks like he's just living a normal life, just kind of like a deadbeat, doing whatever he wants, but when his daughter shows up, he tries to like tidy himself up to look presentable. So I think their kind of relationship is gonna be a lot of fun this movie, father and daughter, and I'm hoping they talk about Black Widow a little bit as well because of her dying in Endgame, so it'd be nice to have like a father-daughter kind of bonding moment over that. But it looks like Yelena is questioning her career path, being an assassin, going and doing jobs for Val, because she wants to probably have a better life. She feels empty inside. So it feels like this movie's gonna be a big jump for Yelena, kind of figuring out who she is, what she wants to do, and probably following in the footsteps of Black Widow. At least that's kind of how I'm seeing they're setting her character up, because we know she's not evil, she's not bad. She's gonna be a good character at some point. She's just gotta like overcome what she's gone through, especially after Black Widow, where she kind of broke what she was doing with her programming with Natasha. Then in Hawkeye, after she tried to get her revenge, she kind of realized where she was wrong, forgave Clint, and then kind of went on her way. So there's still a lot we have to see from her, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to Yelena in this movie and where she goes, because I really like her character. I like Florence Pugh, so I can't wait to see more of her. Then we have John Walker, aka US agent. He's just living a normal life, looking at a news article about himself, and it looks like he's kind of doubting himself. Like, I feel like after everything that happened during Falcon and the Winter Soldier, him becoming US agent, working for Val, he's probably done some stuff he's not proud of, even though it's in the name of his country. So, you know, he might be going through kind of a crisis himself, trying to figure out who he is, what he wants to do, and what his plan is. And as we go forward, John Walker, Yelena, Ghost, and Taskmaster all get sent to this lab to break in, and then they all try to kill each other. So it definitely looks like someone sent them there to all meet each other, all to be taken out. They even comment on it during the trailer. They kind of all have done bad things. You got assassins, robberies, job hires, all that stuff. And then someone's trying to take them out. Which definitely feels like Val has sent a couple of them in there, because we know Yelena was working for Val at one point. John Walker's working for Val. I feel like she sent both of them in without telling them who's who. John Walker's going in probably thinking he's stealing something or getting something for the US government, and then he has a bunch of assassins he needs to fight. So that's probably what's going on there, and it's cool to see Ghost in an actual cool costume. Like, that's a dope-ass looking costume, and it's great to see her come back after we haven't seen her since Ant-Man and the Wasp. Honestly, never expected to see her come back, so it's kind of cool, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her. Now, Taskmaster doesn't actually look like Taskmaster anymore, so I'm hoping with this movie, they kind of retcon that, where she was taking on that Taskmaster persona, because that's what they wanted to perceive her as, but the actual Taskmaster is out there somewhere. And the thing is with Taskmaster, all I want to see is that very, like, comedic, joking Taskmaster from the comics, so I'm really hoping Tony Masters is still out there. However, while they're all fighting in this facility, Bob walks out, aka Richard Reynolds, aka the Sentry, and it looks like he's been there for a while. I'm guessing at this point he's like a lab rat, and they're trying to take him out with all these people because they're like, shit, our secret's gone out, we gotta take them all out, because the Sentry in the Marvel universe, he's as strong as Superman. And it looks like as they end up getting out, whoever this facility is owned by tries to take out Bob. They unleash a bunch of bullets on him, and you can kind of see that he's already been shot, and there's just bullet casings on the ground because he's invincible. Well, at least it seems like he is. He's bulletproof. So it's cool to see how they're setting him up, because in the comics, Bob was a meth addict who broke into a laboratory of an unnamed professor, and that's where he discovered the Golden Sentry serum, which is a serum that was made from the Super Soldier serum that gave Steve Rogers his power. Bob took that serum, ended up gaining the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. However, by doing this, it killed his partner, the lab guards. Then he asked the professor for more compounds. So as a meth addict, he went in, took it, killed everyone around him because of the power he gained, and then wanted more. And this facility he was in was called Project Sentry. They were appalled from what their irresponsibility did by giving this meth addict power, because they ended up persuading Reynolds to let them test his powers at their facility. But in the end, they couldn't contain him for long, so that's probably what's happening here. He's at the facility, he took it, he probably killed a bunch of guards, then the Thunderbolts show up, they all run into him, while in the moment, the lab is trying to take him out. But then that doesn't work out for good, because then he gets out. But Bob is a good character, so he broke out to use his powers for good. So then he ended up becoming the Sentry, and that's where his character comes from. He breaks out of this lab, becomes a superhero. But the thing is, there is so much more to this character, because he also has a dual personality, which is also the Void, a shadowy figure that exploited his enemy's greatest fears, which the Sentry is also a great hero and also the worst villain. So that's what this movie's setting up. It's setting up the Void coming. I think what's going to happen in this movie is that the Sentry is going to get released. The Thunderbolts are going to be tasked to go after the Sentry, because they got to contain this pretty much lab rat that got out, and then by the end of the movie, we're going to get a teaser for the Void. Because the Void is this other persona. I don't think the Thunderbolts are going to stand a chance against the Void. So it definitely feels like that's going to be a bigger overarching villain we might get eventually, where the Sentry breaks and becomes the Void. And that can lead to a darker storyline down the road, because I do remember seeing something about some characters getting ripped in half by the Void. But there's so many darker things, and there's so much more to the Sentry that we could talk about, but I honestly don't know a lot about the Sentry except for some of the basics, so I gotta do my own research and even read some of his comics, because I've only read a little bit of him in some of the Marvel comics I've had, because Marvel kind of forgot about him for a little while in the comics, and I think just made his return in recent years, but I'm not caught up on recent comics, so I'm not totally sure. But let's continue with the trailer now, because in the trailer, it also looks like Bucky is living a normal life. Has his arm in a dishwasher, but all of a sudden, he's in court, he's working for Val, and I'm pretty sure this is because Val is using him. Val has manipulated something to make him go back to court to pay for his crimes, and she is going to be manipulating things from behind the scenes to make sure that this guy can work for her. At least that's what I'm assuming here, because it makes sense. And also, Bucky looks a little pissed off during the trailer, so I can totally feel he's just not happy working for Val, but he's doing it so they can kind of get it over and done with, so he can get his name exonerated once again. Also, in the trailer, when Bucky is at that gala with Val, they have Loki's scepter on display. So wherever this gala is, they're showing off some of the artifacts that they've gotten from some of the big Avenger movies. So cool to see Loki's scepter return. And I do like the lines in the trailer, like at the end, where John Walker is like,
She's bulletproof.
What happened to bulletproof?
It's bulletproof-ish.
Is that Bucky?
like, it's just fun. It sounds like there's gonna be some fun scenes during this where they're having a little bit comedy, but it also just, it works. It works for the scene. And then you had Bucky using his gun that he had in Winter Soldier. So it's kind of tying back to the Winter Soldier vibes. I'm assuming Val's gonna set him up with Winter Soldier weapons so that he can complete the task for her and lead the Thunderbolts. Because in the trailer, she talks about how there are bad guys, there are worse guys, and there's something else. Which I do think that there's something else, could be the Sentry and the Void, where the bad guys could be some of the Thunderbolts, the worst guys we've seen, and then the something else is the Sentry. I'm very interested to seeing what's going on there, because Val has her own kind of things going on behind the scenes, and I feel like she might be the bigger villain for this movie, where the Thunderbolts have to turn on her because they realize what she's actually been doing this entire time. And it looks like the Red Guardian gets dragged into this because of Yelena. I could totally see her just going to grab him and being like, hey, I need your help. Can you come help us? And then he gets pulled in, drives a little limo with them, and then as they're running away, whoever the people running the facility are, that's when Bucky comes in. Looks like it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I remember hearing rumors from the beginning where everyone thought that the Thunderbolts are gonna be going against the Sentry, which again, they have no chance going against him. He is too powerful for them to go against for regular human and super soldiers. So there's definitely more going to this. It definitely feels like they might be going after the serum that's in that lab, but then Bob already took it. The Sentry was already created, and he picks up the Sentry logo in this trailer. So he's definitely becoming that hero during this movie. And then I bet you by the end of the movie, the Sentry joins their team just to help them take out whoever was running that lab and facility, or to even take down Val. Could totally see that coming. Excited to see what comes from this, but it is different from the Thunderbolts comic, because in the comics, the original team was created by Baron Zemo. It was his Masters of Evil pretending to be heroes so that Zemo could pretend to be a hero, get access to the Avenger system, but in the end, because he wasn't able to do that, he outed the entire team, and then in the end, the team decided to stay heroes, they defected, and they wanted to be reformed because they liked the respect they were gaining. Because some of those characters did become heroes later on, and they still work as heroes to this day. Now, the interesting part is, later in the years, the Thunderbolts did become a team run by Bucky Barnes, and then it was a team run by Norman Osborn, and then that was run by Mayor Fisk, but that one had more villains on it, and then it became a team by Mayor Cage, which had Hawkeye on it. So the Thunderbolts has kind of changed over the years from its original debut, but it's interesting to see what they're doing, because this isn't like a Suicide Squad type of team. It's more of a team of villains who try to be heroes, and then they end up becoming heroes. Very curious to see what they're going to be doing with this movie. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I do think they're going to have some interesting aspects to it, that it's going to lead into like more of a Winter Soldier vibe movie, but also have that kind of bigger cinematic feel when it comes to the Sentry and like Superman stuff. So I'm really excited to see what they do. I really don't know what to expect other than steal serum gets taken, superhero gets created. Who's the bigger bad guy? Let's take him down. I've been excited for this movie because of Bucky and Yelena for a while now, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. You know, next year definitely has Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts coming out, so it feels like two Winter Soldier vibe movies, and I'm really excited because that's something I've been waiting for years. You know, we have all these big CGI monster fests. Let's have something that's a little bit more street hero and a little bit more hand-to-hand combat. Even though one movie has the Hulk and one movie's gonna have the Sentry, I still feel like it's gonna have that more spy-esque feel to it. And I'm excited. Marvel's coming back. At least I'm hoping they are. So let me know, what do you think of this trailer? Do you have any other theories to go along with this? Anything you think it's gonna actually go on? And anything else you noticed during the trailer that I didn't talk about? So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.